Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever in the world you're joining from. Welcome to this special edition of Coding Community. Thank you for being here. Welcome. And for those of you who are joining for the first time and you're wondering, well, what is this even? This is a stream that we do to highlight some really fun projects. And today's project, I was literally just telling our amazing guest that it has become my boo. Like it is my single most favorite project. It's open source, it's by GitHub, it's for developers, and it really is helping people hone in into what it means to code now in this agentic era. And you might have heard about it before. You might have tried it when it was first launched, but I am here to tell you it's not the same. And we're going to talk to the PM about it. He's also graciously brought some demos and some info. So without further ado, please allow me to welcome Ryan Hecht. Hello, Ryan. Welcome.
Hello. I'm so happy to be here.
Me too, because last time that we did something, I'm going to take this glare off of my face. My setup is a bit off today, friends. It's been a day. But let me tell you, me and Brian, we recorded a GitHub checkout. It's been months. I mean, it was last year. Maybe
5.5 months from now? 5 months? Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not going to share that one but go back on your own time and have a listen, take a look. But the things that you showed me then and the way that the CLI is today, it's, I don't know.
It's really night and day.
Miles apart. Like boy. It is wild.
It's absolutely crazy. There's been hundreds of new features that have been added. I mean, here, do you want to go to my screen? Let's go look at the
let's do it.
Let's go to the repository here on GitHub. So I'm going to go to the releases. So you see there's been 167 releases since I don't even think that includes the pre-releases, but we went all the way back, 9/25, 9/26. This is when we had our initial public preview date. There are 17 pages of releases, and the lengths of some of these change logs as well, and like how many things have been added is insane. Here, actually, it's the easiest thing to do, I think, would just be to go to the changelog.md.
Yes.
And you can go through and look, some days we ship more than once, right? And this is, on a daily basis, all of these new features and bug fixes and community suggested feedback that we get, just, crazy new ways of working with agents that all just filter into the product each and every day. It's absolutely insane. The team's grown so much as well since we first started our public preview. There's so many designers who are helping us make it the thing way more ergonomic to use. And just everyone is so driven. Everyone is so talented and smart. And like we want to make the best agentic harness on the market. And I think we're succeeding at that.
Oh, 100%. First of all, when I say this team is cooking, it is no over exaggeration. The pace, I think, obviously the community, but the pace in which the team has come together to make this an incredible experience for everybody. Here's a little known fact, or maybe it's a well-known fact. Guess what, friends? We have to use that. So obviously you're cooking with the thing that you are building and you want it to be a good experience for yourself. So I just mentioned this to you before we got on the stream. I'm like, I don't think I've opened Insiders. Like, I think the last time I opened it was a couple of weeks ago. I was giving a presentation and mostly like it made more sense to show my file explorer and things from there. But I've been living in Ghosty, which is my preferred terminal right now, because the Copilot CLI has become my workhorse. Like, there is nothing that I can't do there that I want to do. Like, it's amazing.
It's true. Amazing. I think if anything, like, the rise of terminal-based AI assistants has reintroduced people to just how powerful the terminal is, right? And just how you can do anything that you want to do on your computer without leaving your terminal. And like I've seen people be like, oh man, I wish I didn't have to open my editor to, like view files or like open my file explorer to see files. It's like, well, like there are terminal-based file explorers. Like here, go learn NeoVim and view your files that way. Like it's reintroducing people to I think the most efficient way to use your computer, and that's always really fun.
That is a fantastic way to look at it. Honestly, I think if anything, and I'm one of those really like, I call myself adobo brain people, the spicy brain people. And for me to be able to just hyper focus on one terminal, like it's been just amazing.
Oh, for sure.
Amazing. So when we first launched, I can't believe it's only been September. This is like, what?
I know.
Okay. When we first launched, it came out the bag with some real power, with some agentic power, with some slash commands. But since then, this thing has exploded. Can you tell me a little bit about what's new? I mean, just yesterday, I thought the most recent thing was Fleet and Delegate. And then I saw Evan post a tweet and I'm like, oh I can't even keep up. So please, spin. Let us know what's new.
Oh boy, yeah. So I mean, I want to start. Obviously, we could delve into just the things that have filtered into the product like in the past week, because there's cool things there. But I mean, let's take a step back and maybe tell the people just what we're talking about, what's happened over the course of the past few months here with the Copilot CLI.
Yeah.
So obviously you can talk to it. It can edit files on your computer. It can run any command that's on your computer. But because it is in the terminal, you can run it headlessly. You can include it in automation, right? So you can have agentic assistance, just kind of in a script that's on your computer. You can extend it lots of different ways, and I'll show you a few of the ways that you can do that a little bit later on. And you can really customize it to your use case with hooks, with with custom instructions, with MCP servers, and you can run it anywhere that you can log into GitHub, or you could just mint a personal access token and put it wherever you want. I've seen everybody go crazy over OpenClaw and the likes of these kinds of personal assistants. Like you can, without very much effort, use the Copilot CLI to be something that powers that for you, and then just kind of create some wrappers and some customizations around that. And I've done something like that for myself as well. And it's a really great way to kind of, I think, organize your life, like personally, professionally, or what have you.
Yes, all of these beautiful core features, there are the things that come with the harness, right? Like it's ready to work. And I know you're going to talk about what people have access to, because I think one of the things that we don't talk about enough is how you can literally work with so many models when you're using the GitHub Copilot CLI.
Here, go over here.
You are not tied to a single model. You get to choose what it is that you want to put on to do the work that you like. We all have our preferences. They're all like kids. I love them all, but I have my favorites.
It's true. Yeah. And some people are like, oh, I like how, Codex 5.3 is a little bit more terse and to the point. Or some people don't like that, and they like how Opus 4.6 is a lot more kind of free form, and we'll go off on several paragraph diatribe about whatever you want it to. But I think really the thing is that choice, right? And is being able to go through, we've all seen the little flowchart meme of, every 3 months, whoever has the leading model changes. And I think being able to, when a new model ships, know that you have one subscription that's going to get you access to all of them, that's huge. But even more than that, I think being able to dispatch multiple models at the same task is a big deal, right? What I'll find myself doing is using plan mode to come up with a plan for a feature that I'd like to work on. And then before I start implementing the plan, I will say, here, spin up parallel agents using Opus, using Codex, and using Gemini, and have each of them review the plan and give feedback on it as a little pro tip for anybody. And then, then it'll come through and it'll say, okay, here's where the 3 models agreed. Here's where they disagreed. Would you like to implement some of the recommendations of each of them? And then you have this like uber strong, ready to go plan. And then it can go and it can implement it. And then after it's implemented it, then you can go into review mode with each of those agents in parallel as well and say, hey, what does Opus, Codex and Gemini think of how this was implemented? And, do we want to make any changes to the implementation based on their recommendations? Model choice is huge. And obviously you can get model choice by having a Claude Code subscription, having a Codex subscription, having a Gemini subscription, and ping-ponging between each of the apps. But I think it's great to be able to do all of that in one harness without moving. That's a big strength of Copilot for me.
Absolutely. One harness, one memory. We're going to talk about memory too. We got to talk about all the things that and there's more to come, but I just want folks to be cognizant of that, because I think it's tough. And honestly, and especially you brought up OpenClaw, so many people are saying oh, I stopped paying for 5 different subscriptions because I just buy my own thing. I've been doing a lot of these little macro tools and Mac app things that are literally solving my own problems. The ones that are not terrible, I've open source, so check out my GitHub profile. But for the most part, I love being able and empowered to do that, and to have that sort of sense that I don't need to go pay 10 different providers. I have the best agentic harness giving me the best possible models. What else do I want?
Exactly. And knowing that when the next best model comes out, you're going to have access to it, nearly instantaneously. We've gotten real fast.
I know. It's impressive when you see it. No sooner I've read the tweet that I already know it's about to pop up as an option for me.
It's true. I really love to see that. But yeah, and you can use it interactively in your terminal, and that's obviously great. And that's the way that I think I personally interact with it the most, and I think a lot of folks do as well. But you can also run it headlessly. So we will utilize this to help triage issues that come in our various repos. Right, we'll have Copilot being run headlessly in a GitHub action that then triggers some kind of it'll apply labels to it. It'll be like, oh, I think this is a duplicate of X, Y, and Z, right? Or even if it falls into a certain class of issue, maybe we could just automatically assign Copilot the cloud coding agent to go and try and solve it, right? And then being able to run it headlessly like this is huge for non-interactive workflows. Even more than that, though, is this notion of, and we don't have amazing docs on this yet because it's kind of a little bit more experimental, but using ACP and all of the different JSON events that you can use to drive that, you can run Copilot in this server mode, and then you can have other clients go and drive your CLI session. And so you could go and this could be a way that you could implement an OpenClaw like thing. This is the other thing. There's so many different ways of going about solving these problems, and there's lots of different ways that you can go and use the tool. And one thing that you can do is you can do Copilot -- server, and now Copilot can communicate with an editor, with another application, or some other agent that's going to be driving the show. And this is super coming soon, but we want the idea to have multiple clients drive the same session together.
I love that. Yeah. This is sort of so you can have not only many sessions running in parallel too, but then multiple instances in a way. This is really cool.
Yeah. I think flexibility is the name of the game, right? And making sure that no matter how you want to work with an agent, we have a solution for you to plug it in there. It's great if you are doing all of your work on GitHub.com, and then all you need is the CLI on your local computer, and then you push it up, and you got the cloud agent up on GitHub. But there's so many different ways of working, and there's so many different ways of embedding agents into your daily work, and we want to give you all that flexibility.
I love that. And honestly, Ryan, and massive shout out to the team and GitHub and you, because I love the way that we're playing nice with the ecosystem as well. Adding ACP as a feature, that was a community request.
Oh yeah.
Because people wanted to, they wanted to use Zed. They wanted to bring it into Newbie. Now that's shipped, developers are adopting it. And I love that we're doing that. So
yeah. Awesome. And we got to collaborate with our friends at Zed as well to bring this to life. And I think it's good to make this space feel less walled garden-y. I think there's definitely always the pressure to kind of do that, and I think something I really like about our ecosystem is that we don't have these walled gardens. We do let you kind of plug and play and choose how you use the different products.
I love it. I'm team use what makes you happy.
Okay.
What else can you show us?
Well, look, I think it's about way more than just coding as well.
Yes.
Right? So yes, you can generate code, and that's the classic use case for these things. But I think it's something that I've been using this tool a lot, especially in the world of connecting with things like Slack or Teams or your email or your GitHub issues, is being able to automate a lot of like knowledge work kinds of tasks. So I'll give you a little example. We have a spreadsheet that's in Google Sheets. We're in the process of migrating it to Excel. That's a longer story. But we kind of just capture a bunch of metrics about our product every single week. And those metrics come from Azure Data Explorer in a Kusto query is what we use to generate those. And we need to report on those metrics once a week. Usually this is just a very annoying manual step that you have to do, because you have to go to the dashboard. I have to make sure I'm selecting the right rows of the graph. Maybe it's a graph, but I need to get it into a table so I can sum things up or whatever. And it's a very manual process. Eats up time. It's annoying, and it stops me from engaging with a lot more interesting problems to solve at work. The Copilot CLI can use the Azure MCP server to run the Kusto query for me in the format that it needs, grab that number, and then drive a session in Google Docs to go and paste that number into the right cell of the spreadsheet. This is something that like anyone can just build. And if you don't know how to build it, you can talk to Copilot to create a system that lets you do these things.
Wait. So not only, because anyone can do a copy and paste, but this is, you're actually the agent itself, like the CLI itself is actually going into the correct cell and doing what it needs to extract the data. And then it's going to present it to you the way that you ask.
Yeah. And it's much easier to do that now with, with some other tools that that Microsoft's made, the Work IQ plugin for the Copilot CLI. Has anyone have you shown that off on one of your streams?
We haven't a lot. No, I've been playing with the SDK, like the Office one, like making PowerPoints from nothing. But I know Work IQ is it takes that even to a next more deeper level, because then you have the entire view of everything, like literally everything that you have, your emails. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah. So Work IQ is a system that allows you to query anything that's happening in your Microsoft 365 ecosystem with natural language. So you could say, hey, are there any emails that are waiting on responses from me that I haven't gotten to yet? Or what meetings do I have going on next week? Or what documents have I been pinged in? And these kinds of things. And you ask it in natural language, and it spits back, like real responses, about your work life, along with links to where you can go and action on those. And that's huge in and of itself. So, what if that was made available to you via an MCP server, and then you could use it in the Copilot CLI and ask, like, what are my upcoming meetings this week? And then you just have your readout right there in the CLI, and you didn't need to go and open Outlook to try it out. I really should set up a like a demo Azure tenant so I can actually demo this publicly without risking sharing any confidential information.
Yeah.
But trust me, it's really cool. And all you have to do if your company uses Microsoft 365 and you have a GitHub Copilot subscription, download the CLI and run these two commands. I think you just put the link to the docs in chat. Yep. So open up Copilot, run these two commands to add this marketplace, and then install the Work IQ plugin, and then you log in. And then you can just start asking it about all of your work information. It's honestly very magical.
I love this. Honestly, this is the way. I know there's a lot of things, and a lot of us have our own workflows before this, for sure, where we have different tasks running in different schedules. Like you have your email checker, you have your calendar, kind of create an agenda for me. But you don't need to create authentication rules for any of those things, or actually create separate endpoints, or even throw APIs in there, because Work IQ does it for you with MCP server integration and bringing in Copilot CLI. you have now full view of everything.
It's great.
Docs.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's
it's
so
all
cool.
there.
Let's take a question from Ben. And thank you so much, Ben, for being here. It sounds similar to 365 Copilot. I know, listen, naming things is hard and we get confused, okay? But is it a different thing?
So WorkIQ is a okay. So it's essentially an interface for the Microsoft 365 Copilot.
There you go.
And so instead of needing to go on the web and talk to Microsoft 365 Copilot, on whatever their website is, quite honestly, I've never interacted with it on their website before. The WorkIQ CLI is the only way that I go about doing it. But this essentially liberates that from just being in the existing places where Microsoft makes it available for you. And now you can just go into the CLI and access it anywhere. And because it's in the CLI, it literally can be accessed anywhere, like literally anywhere that you can get a terminal running. Or just spin up a Copilot process, which is basically anywhere.
I love that. And listen, this is all powered by the fact that they have an MCP. This is one of the MCPs that you can 100% point your CLI, your Copilot coding agent to. Like, that's cool. Like that, there is a lot of interoperability. Wow, I can't say that word. And a lot of plugins. Oh, let's see about Awesome Copilot. And I do want to take Ivo. I'm coming to your question because that's going to be a deeper conversation about creating custom agents. And I want to make sure that we might even demo that, Ryan, if you're up for it.
We absolutely can. Yeah.
Amazing.
But if making your own skills or custom agents seems a little intimidating to you, which I can understand. It's not as scary as it sounds.
Yes.
So we will get to that. But
perfect.
There is a whole community of people out there who have already created a bunch of really amazing things that you can start using right now to turbocharge your usage of the CLI or any GitHub Copilot surface, to be quite frank. But if we go into, and I really love plugins, because plugins, okay, hand up if you have wondered when it's the best time to use an MCP server or a custom agent or a skill. It's confusing, right? And it's like,
yes.
And you don't know, when people are making your tools available, if you have to add something to an MCP config, if you got to install some custom agents to your repo or skills, like it's just a lot to remember. It's a lot to keep track of, and they all get a little muddled in the water.
Mm-hmm.
Plugins solve that in a way, because plugins allow you to essentially here, let's just pick one of these. What is noob mode? I don't think I've seen noob mode before, but it essentially allows you to bring together all these different extensibility concepts and make it so all people need to do to use it is run one install command. So that WorkIQ plugin, and all someone needs to do is add your marketplace and then install the plugin. And then all of a sudden they just have access to the tools that you made available. And so this noob mode plugin, which you would just install by installing noob mode at Awesome Copilot, it gives you a command that explains everything in plain English. So that's very nice. If you happen to be new to programming, if this is your first on ramp into that, it can go through and translate things in a way that's a little bit easier to understand. That's pretty cool.
Look at all of those. And this is also an open source project, friends, where people are contributing, but this is curated by part of the both Microsoft and GitHub teams, right? So it's gonna be nice, even though it's open and folks can submit. Like, there is a ton. I mean, how many skills? I need to look it up. Like,
how many skills are in here?
There is like a ton, right? The plugins, the plugins itself. There is.
Yeah. Well, remember that all the plugins might include skills, but if we just go to the skills folder here,
that's a lot.
Oh boy, there's a lot of these.
Yeah. That is a lot.
That's quite a few.
And this follow the same convention that skills are written on, so you can use them anywhere.
It's true. And remember when I said it's not that scary to write a skill. All you have to do to write a skill is set a name for it, give a description for it. This way the agent knows when, in order to when it's a good time to invoke this skill. And then you just explain what you want the agent to do. And so in this noob mode one, which again, I've never seen noob mode until a few minutes ago when we clicked on this. But all the author is saying is, all right, Copilot, I want you to activate noob mode to make the Copilot CLI speak plain English. It's designed for non-technical professionals, and it gives you examples of who some of those might be, who use the Copilot CLI but don't have a software engineering background. When new mode is active, translate every permission request, error message, and technical output into clear, jargon-free language. And then it gives some features of what it does. So you just literally describe what you want it to do, and then it knows how to do it. Like what I've done is I've also taken for some teams that I work with, like tutorials on how to use certain pieces of software and tutorials on how, what our standard operating procedures are for things. Just put them in a skill file, slap a name and description on there, and see what happens. And you might be surprised at how good of a job Copilot can then just do in following that.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And honestly, like if you're looking for something that you think it'd be a good skill to have, like go in there and do a search. There's been some really amazing skills that have been contributed. Yeah. I mean, just for about anything you can think of, there is a skill. And again, it's all about the way that they're sort of laying out the instructions for the models. I was just listening to a podcast a little bit ago, and person in the podcast mentioned how it's like we try to give constraints to the models when you really need to just point to them and let them go, especially some of the higher reasoning models and thinking models, like they can figure it out. You just gotta kind of be clear in your instructions, and setting up the skills is one way that you can really make that sort of easier for them. So very cool. When skills are too much, is that kind of a thing? I mean, you can have any amount of skills, and that's another thing too. Like, I feel like does this apply like dynamic tool calling, like where it will actually use the skill when you ask it to?
Yes.
On the CLI. Yeah. So you can have however many skills installed.
Yeah. Now, obviously there is such a thing as having, it's more of a big deal with MCP servers than skills, but you are using up part of the model's context window when you install these tools. And actually, if you go into the Copilot CLI, and then if you run context, after my, I also want to put streamer mode on for fun, because I'm in streamer mode.
Shout out for the team for doing that. Thank you.
That was great. Yeah.
That was great.
So if I do /context in the CLI, it will tell me how much of my context is currently used up by tools that I have defined. And so, there is such a thing as having too much, because then you have less space in your context for your actual session. And then, whatever, it'll start going to compaction a little bit more quickly. But skills are a lot better than MCP servers for that. And I would also encourage you, if you have a lot of MCP servers and you notice that, hey, my agent, it starts getting into compaction a lot earlier than I'd like, look into whether there are any CLI equivalents for your MCP servers. There's even some tools out there that will help you convert an MCP server to a CLI.
Yep.
And then you can just provide a skill of, here's the documentation on how to use the CLI. And that's a lot less tokens that you'll end up using in your context there.
That is a massive tip. I think I'm super hype and bullish on MCP, but I mean, there are some things that you don't need the full MCP server to do what you need to do, and skills might be the perfect solution for that.
It's true. Yeah. Someone asked in chat if plugins can include custom instructions, or are they just limited to agents and skills?
Yes, thank you for the question.
Yeah. So I'm going to go to create a plugin here. So you can have agents, skills, and hooks. Those are the three things that you can put into your into your plugins. Now, custom instructions. Custom instructions are good for putting in your repository, for example, so that way GitHub knows how to better do work in that repository and in that code base, or even at a user level. Like, say you want Copilot to talk to you in a certain language, or in a certain response style. It's good to have custom instructions at the user level for that. In the case of a plugin, skills are really what you want and not custom instructions, because you don't want it to be acting that way all of the time when it has the plugin installed, right? Because someone might have your plugin installed and be doing a whole number of different things. They could be doing, software development. They could also be doing creative writing, right? Or they could be doing, systems administration. And you probably don't want to have custom instructions in there kind of affecting how the agent responds in those situations. Instead, you have an agent that then allows you to take on that persona. So anything that you would put in custom instructions in the plugin, you might want to put it in a custom agent definition or in a skill file instead.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that. And thank you for the question. Let me go up a bit because this is also another good question.
Yeah.
Thank you. Again, it's from Empty Freight Tag. Thank you. Can they only be installed on the CLI, or are they coming to VS Code?
So I was actually just told today that VS Code has shipped plugins.
Hey.
I don't know how it works. I haven't tried it yet, but they do have plugins. Here we even VS Code Copilot plugins. Let's see. Is it documented yet? Because it might not be. It might
have been just brand new. There was just a release of code like maybe yesterday.
Yeah, VS Code insiders got jealous of how fast we were shipping, and they've started shipping very fast too.
I love it.
But yes, so they are available in VS Code. I'm sure it's a matter of they'll be adding more functionality as time goes on and everything. Plugins are in this weird Wild West space where there isn't an official spec for them yet. There isn't really a standard, and so I know that certain harnesses might have slightly different differences between how plugins work and everything. But unlike skills do have a standard, and it's agentskills.io. Yeah. So I would invite anybody who's interested in writing skills and want to learn more about tips for how to do that and the different kinds of references you can give them. Go check out agentskills.io, and they have the whole spec there. Or even better, take this, go into Copilot and say, tell me more about how to make good skills, and just paste in a link, and then it'll just go and I'll tell you about it. It's always great to see like that.
Look at that. And I honestly, this has been my view, and it did take a bit of getting used to be honest. Like it did, but now I'm like, I don't want to work any other way. Like
it's true. Nice. No, it really is true. It really is true. I think the ability to talk to your tool and learn how best to use it is a big deal. And we've actually made it way easier to do that. I might be very embarrassed by doing this, but we're just going to do it.
Let's YOLO it.
I'm going to go into Copilot, and I'm going to do /Chronicle. Have you played with /Chronicle yet?
I just saw it today, and I have not, because I'm kind of like scared of what I might find.
It is true. Yes, I totally understand that. But if I do /Chronicle tips, what Copilot's going to do is it has indexed all of my conversations that I've had with it. And it's going to go and take a look in all of those conversation transcripts. It's going to check the documentation for GitHub Copilot CLI and look at how I use it, the way that I talk to it, the skills that I use, the types of tasks that I go about doing, and it's going to tell me how well I am utilizing the product. It's going to tell me here are some things that you might want to change. I've seen that you've done the same task over and over and over again. Why not make a skill for it, right? I see that. There's the way that you describe this to the agent leads to lots of back and forth to better understand what you're talking about. Here's a way that you might want to condense that into some kind of custom instruction to make that be better used. There's lots of ways that we can improve, and yes, it can be difficult to get some of that constructive feedback and be like, oh yeah, don't I feel silly?
No, but this is really interesting. I haven't done it. I don't know, when did that ship? Because I remember just seeing it and putting a mental note, you need to do that.
Yeah.
I've done that with Copilot before, where I ask it after we've been working on something for a very long time, and I ask it, okay, like, how could I prompt it you better So we got here sooner. It's been kind of like that mental conversation, but now I don't even have to think about it because I can use the Chronicle flag and then it'll go.
It's true. It's true. Yeah. And of course, I also nuke my config all the time as I'm testing different things. So this isn't a full picture, but at least what's currently in my config file, apparently 53% of my sessions are single turn. And I just ask a question, then I'm done. I'm not making great use of our infinite sessions concept these time right now, but I'm triaging user reports. I'm debugging Kusto queries. I'm drafting issues and PRs. And it's looking into, look, it says you're already using file mentions, fleet mode. We haven't talked about fleet mode yet. We can get into that.
Yes, please. We have to.
Custom skills, work IQ. So these tips are going to skip the basics. So this is a brand new feature / research. It essentially is a deep research command workflow for the Copilot CLI. And it's noticing that I'm not really using it. To be fair, most of the sessions in its index are from before research existed. So that's why. But it would be great to do to use that to do some deep research agents to look at things across GitHub. Fair enough. I'm regularly pasting multi-hundred line queries and really long prompts. I should use Control G to open long prompts in my editor. Did you know that you could do that?
I did not know that I could do that.
Yeah. So if I do Control G, here you go. It's opened it up in Vim, which is my default editor for here. Now I can add to it. Hello, this is cool.
This is cool.
And then if I close Vim, now the prompt is here.
Ryan, you're brave. You exited Vim and you showed us your Chronicle all on the same screen.
It's true. You're right. First try. But yeah, no matter what your editor of choice is, if you would rather edit your prompts in there, you have all your key bindings all set up just the way you like them. You have all your extensions. You have your autocomplete. You can do that now, and it's a lot easier to edit all of your crazy prompts. And so, yes, maybe when I'm pasting my multi-hundred line Kusto queries, I should be doing that instead. That's definitely fair.
That's a heck of a tip. And let me tell you something. This is a way that you're actually getting feedback to improve the way that it's not just for the model, like it's for the agent. It's for you. Like
it's true. Yeah,
it's for you. Like I love this conversation. Okay, so. Now, new flag to try. Remind us what it was. It was Chronicle.
Chronicle tips is what that one was. Tips. Yes, okay. Yeah. And we also have. Okay, we're going through. This is still doing some deep research into skills. It seems.
Yeah.
And then I canceled it. But okay, well, whatever. We'll go back to that later.
You have them all running on like super high context. Like you have it going like in turbo.
Pretty much
triple diamond mode. So it was gonna take a minute.
Yeah.
It's gonna take a minute.
There's also Chronicle Improve and Chronicle Stand Up. So there's different things that the Chronicle stand-ups, it's pretty simple. It basically just lets you it'll look at some of the sessions that you've had going on, maybe you didn't resolve, so that way in the morning you can run Chronicle stand-up and then have an understanding of what you should be doing. It's a stand-up, right? So what I find myself doing is in the morning I'll do Chronicle stand-up to remind me about where I've left off and what I ought to be doing right now, and then in the afternoon or when I'm signing off I can do Chronicle tips to kind of see like, all right, in the sessions that I've done today, is there anything that I can...
Oh, hang on, Ryan. I think we lost your sound.
Yeah, I muted my microphone on. Yeah, that was interesting. Yes, then I use Chronicle tips to generate tips on how I've been using Copilot when I'm kind of like ramping down and I have some time, and that can let me go and improve some of my files. And then here, Chronicle Improve. That is also then looking into some of the custom instructions that it has, some of the other customizations that we've made, and looking for ways that we can actually just improve the way that we are prompting Copilot. I haven't run this one on this batch of sessions, so I honestly no clue what we're going to find when it finishes.
This is very interesting. It's like Copilot has become sort of like your mentor manager type too. Like I like that. Yeah.
Seriously, it's like having a little coach with you at all times.
Yes.
and that's
Yes,
awesome.
yes, yes.
Like it's helping you be able to use the tool better, and then also just be better at the tasks that you're going out to do. And like I think that's super super cool.
While it's cooking, let's take this question. Mr. Kale, this is a good question.
Yeah.
So you have Copilot in VS Code, but not Copilot CLI. And this is something I want to clarify for everyone who's watching. You get Copilot CLI too.
Yes, you do.
Everybody gets Copilot CLI. Do you need it? Yeah, if you want to install it, and you can of course open a terminal in VS Code and use it there if you want to. There is nothing stopping you. But yes, and it's available to everyone. So
yeah,
please, I know that was something that it was important for the team that was like offer as not just as part of the subscription. And so everybody go download, install the CLI, please.
Yes, please do. It's excellent. There was actually another part of that question talking about using it in VS Code. Can it be used in VS Code Copilot? So yeah, this kind of gets difficult to explain. But here's something that I'm gonna do. I'm gonna open up this. But I'm gonna do it in another window so I can open a different repository. And now we're going to, all right, so I've opened VS Code here, and I've opened it in a personal project of mine. It's a big old Java code base. And we're going to go into the terminal. This is where we learn if my VS Code config is broken from me testing things. Okay, no, we're good. But if I do Copilot, it's going to load my environment. And you'll notice that here it said Visual Studio's Code Insiders connected. And so now we have integration with VS Code. And so if I do things like I don't have a very I don't know, add a command to, I don't know. This is a big Minecraft server plugin code base is what this is. Yeah. So I'm trying to think of something simple. I don't know. Add a command to give the user 64 diamonds. And so when it can grab context from the VS Code session, so it can look at the files that you have opened and all of that. But then also when it shows diffs, it can show them in the VS Code diff viewer as well. And so it kind of is, you can use the Copilot CLI if that's the harness that you prefer, or if maybe you just want this kind of continuity between the sessions that you're working on in VS Code and not in VS Code. You can spin up the Copilot CLI in VS Code to then talk to this harness that you already know and love.
I love that. And so now I have all the context of my project plus what I have open.
Exactly. Right, yeah. I'll be totally honest. I haven't used this that much because, again, I've just like you, kind of just completely taken the editor out of my life and I've gone full terminal, and that's the way that I like it. But so it's spinning up a ton of Explore agents here because I think I have an old build of this plugin where I don't have any of my agent instructions set up. And so that's why, so it's going through, but it is remarkable, the fact that you can spin up the Explore agent, multiple parallel Explore agents to go and figure out how this process works. And it is just going to, at the end of this, kind of figure out how this code base is laid out, find where the commands are, find how they're structured, and then write a command for me without ever having seen this before. And that is a very magical thing.
And it's going. Can you say more about this running task in parallel? Because I think that's something that we don't talk about enough, right? And then you have to show us fleet too. because
Yes.
I think that's one of the most powerful things that, like, this is why this is the harness you need.
It's true. It's true. Yeah. So running things in parallel is a superpower. It used to be that you had your agent do one thing, and you said, "Here, go off and build this functionality for me. Go off and change this." It went off and did it, and you couldn't have it. Who knows how long that was going to take, right? It might take a lot of retrying certain things. It might take it might be just like a lot of steps, and it just executes all those steps one sequentially after the other. But nowadays, what we really want is for the agent to create a to-do list of all of the tasks that it needs to do, figure out, okay, these things can be done in parallel, and then do that in parallel. Okay, finally, so now we got so many things happening at once. So now all those parallel explore tasks finished. It figured out how it wanted to add a new command, and now it's showing me the diff in VS Code's diff viewer. So I can, of course, it's less exciting when it's creating a new file, but you could imagine that if this was a diff of an existing file, it would be better to see that in here than in the IDE. And so then instead of saying yes in the CLI, I can say yes up here, and now it can go off and do that. So that's pretty cool.
That is cool.
And here you go. Once again, now it needs to register the command, and it shows it there, and I can say yes up here again. But Fleet. So with Fleet, and I don't think I even have Java and Gradle installed on here, so I don't think that build's going to work. So let's just cancel that. If I have a sufficiently large task that I want the model to go off and figure out, it's going to create a to-do list, and it's going to figure out, here are all the constituent parts of completing this task for you. And then it is going to, again, figure out the dependency order of these tasks, figure out which ones can be done independently from one another, and then dispatch several parallel agents, each with their own context windows, right? And each with their own tasks from the to-do list to do, and go off and complete each of those bits of the task. And if you combine this with autopilot mode, which is essentially YOLO mode, and then also just constantly looking at the to-do list saying, is there anything left to do? Is there anything left to do? Is there anything left to do until it's completed? You really just have, a true fleet of agents that can go and complete a task completely autonomously.
And you don't have to assign specific, like, you're not spinning up these agents, just using the /fleet command takes care of that for you.
Exactly. And so my loop is make a plan, get the plan, ask it to fire up parallel subagents of Opus, Codex, and Gemini to review said plan. Then once I like the plan, I go into autopilot mode. I say /fleet, implement the plan. And then it just goes off and does that. So let's do that right now. Let's go into plan mode. And let's say we want to, I don't know. Let us add a tag mini game, party game. So the project has this notion of party games that people can do if they're in a party on the server. I'm going to have it make a tag mini game for party games. So it's going to go and create a plan. And so it's going to do that by exploring how the system works using the explore agent that we had used before. So it's just looking, it has no clue how any of this works because it doesn't have very good custom instructions for this code base. But it's okay. It's found a pointer, so it's going to go and do that. And then it's going to create its plan. And then once the plan's created, I'm not going to iterate on the plan. We're just going to have it go so we can see what fleet mode looks like.
Let's YOLO it. Yeah. I love that. Can you say a little bit about how, like, at this point, even during the exploration, like, I guess the value of having Copilot instructions in there, can you guide how that exploration is done? Is this innate to the harness itself, or can we actually kind of guide that? Because we all have sort of different ways that we start kind of like the thinking process.
Yeah. I mean, for me, what I think, even if you don't have any instructions, the agent is remarkably good at scanning the code base for, your design patterns and figuring out kind of, a pretty decent way of working at it. But what the custom instructions are going to do is it's going to give the agent a very baseline view of, hey, here's the programming language that we're using. Here's like the main architecture of this and the constituent parts of it. So that way, when the Explore agent starts, the first thing it's doing isn't looking for YML files, which was the first thing it was doing here, right? If like, hey, let me look for the word party.yml anywhere. It's like, well, it's not going to find that. I know that because I've worked on this code base for 10 years, but like, like it doesn't know that because it was never told that. And that's what the custom instructions are going to help it get through a little bit more easily. Definitely not necessary. You definitely don't need it. The agent's still going to do a very good job at figuring out how to use your code base without it. But it shortcuts the process. It'll make the part that's happening right now happen a little bit quicker.
Just a little bit quicker. Yeah. And then again, if you start thinking about it, I mean, that's one thing. Because remember, we're doing this very much like you will develop software. Yeah. Right now, you're in the exploratory phase. You're figuring it out. You have your idea. You want to add this party game. And you have this code base, and now you just kind of figure out how that's going to fit in there. And then, we'll move on from that. But if you think about skills, this is one thing I feel like it's a question that comes up a lot, like skills versus agent. Like when would you use a skill versus just creating a custom agent for a job that you do all the time?
Yeah. To me, an agent is a type of person with a certain kind of like a remit, right? So like, you think of like our built-in agents. We have an explore built-in agent, and we have a review built-in agent. Like these are like, like it's a specialized person who knows how to explore things really well. And here's a list of tools that I have that allow me to explore things really well. And a skill like are those tools that you give those people.
Beautiful.
Right. And so you create kind of like a persona of here is the type of person and what they do to help me work on my project. And then skills are the actual tools that you give them and the actual skill set that they have in order to do a task.
Perfect. That's beautifully explained. Okay, so he's going.
It's still going.
While it's cooking, I wanna go through the questions that are coming up here. I love this question because I'm like, use what makes you happy. But honestly, like out of all people in the world, because I'm a huge insiders chill. Like I love VS Code Insiders. It's been my working editor forever. But when I tell you I haven't opened that bad boy for weeks, that is a reason. Why do you prefer? I mean, why do you prefer? Like, I think it's a personal choice, but also, can we say about how I guess it's different?
Yeah. I mean, it is certainly a personal choice, and I would say that I've always been the type of person who prefers to be in the terminal if I can. And that's just a reason to do it. And I think that's again part of the reason why we have both of these products is because it does allow you to kind of to choose. But I think the CLI part of it is we've gotten to some cool UI here, so we'll get to that in a second. But,
I like that.
But the CLI, it's a method of working with a computer that is obviously easier to stick into automation, and so that's obviously one big reason why we have this. And maybe that isn't relevant to you and your daily life, but like that's one use case for having it. But another one is, well, I mean, we've seen like with MCP servers and with agent skills that having structured ways of agents to be able to operate software is really important. And the Copilot CLI is now a way that agents can structured interact with Copilot, right? And so like we have the Copilot server mode, so you can have your applications actually like drive a session with Copilot. You're not going to be able to do that just with the side panel in the IDE because you can't programmatically access it. It's all about this like enabling programmatic access. And so like yes, are the features are there features that the CLI has that VS Code doesn't have? Are there features that the VS Code has that the CLI doesn't have yet? Yes, like that is true, but it's a different method of interacting with a computer that kind of allows you to pick and choose what the environment's going to have, and makes it a little bit easier to interact with it in like headless environments. If I SSH into a computer, that I don't access very often and I don't have a monitor attached, I can install the Copilot CLI, and now I have an assistant in that terminal ready to go and ready to help me, administer this system that I don't touch very frequently. Like, what am I going to do? Install code server and then go into code server in the browser?
Try and run a remote, like a pretend VS Code
Yeah.
online, so that you can do something that you can do from the terminal with Copilot.
Yeah.
No, that makes total sense. That makes total
100%.
sense. And that's
but maybe it matters to this commenter. I forgot their name, unfortunately, but maybe it matters to them that they would rather do that, and they would rather have the GUI there and do it that way, and that's okay. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you must use the CLI and only use the CLI, and that's the only good way to do it, because that's not true.
Yeah.
It really is about giving everybody choices.
Having the choice, honestly. And there are things that it depends on what, like I was just in the process of setting up a new computer and I neglected doing it the right way and like saving all my config files and like doing. And so before I moved from one place to the other, I used Copilot. I kicked it off on the CLI, but then I actually wanted to look through the files in a little bit more in that way. So I'm like, okay, let's open this in Insiders. So there is, I mean, I think the advantage here is that you can choose when and how. Yes. So it's your choice. Can you tell us what's going on? Because look at this.
This is great. There's been so many UI advancements in the Copilot CLI recently, and it's sometimes tough for me to keep up with the channel where the designers are just experimenting with stuff and coming up with cool ideas. And so when you're creating a plan, especially, it's really important that that you are answering clarifying questions that the model gives you. And we noticed this a lot. And we were just like, the model would ask 10 questions. You would copy each question and say, number 1, yes, this. Number 2, I think you should go with this option. And that was really kludgy. That was really slow. And probably not a great use of tokens. And so what we did is we created this ask user question experience, and we've made lots of different iterations to it already. But here we're building this tag mini game, and Copilot wants me to know to tell it what style of tag. Is it classic tag, or one player is it and you tag someone to pass it on? Is it infection tag? Is it freeze tag?
I love this like elicitation style of like working. It's beautiful.
Yeah. And so this new elicitation style, we're also expanding to MCP server elicitation as well, because that's not in yet, but we've gotten a lot of feedback to enable that, and this framework is going to allow us to do that as well. So we're gonna go with classic tag. Okay. How long should a round last? And it's filled in 120 seconds to be like a starting point. That's fine, sure. How many players minimum? I guess 2. 2-player tag's kind of boring. Let's start it with 3. I think you need at least 3 people for tag to be truly interesting. Maximum players, I don't know. Let's do 20. What warp or server location should this game use?
Ooh.
That's cool. So like, where should the game start? That's fine. Let's do that. Let's start it there. How do players tag each other? Let's punch or hit them.
Okay.
Any other details or notes? I don't know. No, I'm good. And I could do Control S. And so now I've just answered all those questions. So I do Control O here to look at the oh, never mind. It's not actually going to expand that. But you can see the beginning of it here. Like, it asks questions. So I've done variant equals classic, duration equals 120. And so it has all the answers to that now. And it's going to use that to create the plan. And then we're almost at our scheduled end time, but I do want to kick off the
cooking.
fleet.
No, we're going to watch it cook.
We should.
If you're okay with it.
Oh, I'm more than okay with it.
Okay. And then see, here, what this just facilitated is you're saving on tokens. This would have been a conversation that would have been back and forth, but the CLI was intelligent enough to like say, these are decisions that we need to make before I go bake this thing, and presenting them in a way that is like just very practical, beautifully designed, by the way. The team that's designing this thing is cooking.
It's excellent. It's excellent. Ever since we came out with the Copilot banner, we've been cooking with design.
Beautiful. Yes.
I'm gonna play that just because I love it so much.
Same. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Joel. Oh, beautiful. Look at that. It's the little things, friends. Okay. It's the little things.
It's true.
All right, let me take a quick look through the chat to make sure that How is Copilot so cheap? You mean free? Like it's free for you. You can go use the CLI right now.
Please do. Please do.
Please do it. Let's see. And I still don't understand tokens. We can talk, and honestly, like I think that's a larger conversation. Ryan, maybe you can come and play with this. I've been talking to my team about doing a stream that's about that, like helping people guide their options with when they're modeling, because we sit in our ivory tower of unlimited tokens.
It's true. It's true.
But for our own personal projects and other things, like it's good to think about better ways to efficiently deploy those agents and do all the things.
Yeah. I mean, and the beauty of Copilot is, that, we do charge by premium requests and not by token, right? So there's a lot of things that, who cares how many tokens you're using? But like, you still should care how many tokens you're using. For one reason, like the model does have a finite context window, right? And as you get to the end of that context window, we've done a lot to again have auto compaction happen, and so by default, when you get close to exhausting your context, that we will automatically compact it so the model only keeps the most relevant things in its context window, so you can continue that session. And then also with Copilot memory and with the SQL database that we've given the agent, so it can have its to-do list and everything. It can have the session go on forever, but still, if it can do that fewer times, that's better. And so, you still probably do want to conserve your context window and conserve your tokens if you can. But here we go. Okay, our plan's ready.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And so I can do Control E to view the full plan. So here's the full plan that we have here. Sounds good to me. Now, I could just say accept plan and build on autopilot, and then it will just automatically move me into autopilot and start building this. I'm going to prompt myself because we want to go into autopilot mode. Now that
is autopilot the same as YOLO? And there was a question about YOLO, actually. Does it mean stop asking me, or does it mean just go to town?
Yeah, so YOLO is the combination of allow all tools and allow all paths. So by default, when Copilot wants to access a path that isn't in the current working directory, you get prompted, hey, can Copilot go look at this path? That's very good security practice, right? Because you might not want Copilot to go and be messing with your system files or anything like that. And then allow all tools, I think is pretty self-explanatory. You've seen Copilot ask for confirmation to run tools all of the time. So YOLO is the combination of allow all tools and allow all paths. Autopilot is the combination of YOLO and don't ask me follow-up questions. Yeah. And so that combined with the model's to-do list allows it to just add things to the to-do list and then just constantly just keep looping and looping and looping until everything has been completed. And so it gives the model this tool to say like, all right, just keep going in a loop and then when you think you're done, call this I'm done tool, and then we can go back out to have the user do stuff. So maybe a little confusing there, but that's kind of how YOLO and autopilot. There's actually a really good article on the docs about, let's see, Copilot CLI. Autopilot.
Let's share that link, please. If you pass it to me over here in the private chat, I'll share the right one, because that will be.
I will.
That will be very, very useful.
Yeah. So anyway, so I'm going to do /fleet implement the plan here. And what that's going to do is start a fleet of parallel agents that are going to take that to-do list and figure out what can be run independently of one another, and then run all of those in parallel. And then I'm in autopilot mode, so it should just keep going until the plan is complete. And so then I can just say that. So of course I'm in autopilot mode, so we have to make sure that we give it all permissions, and I will say yes.
Okay.
And it's implementing the plan. And as we do that, I'm going to get this this link all about autopilot mode. There's that. So share that with the folks if they want to go learn more about it.
Thank you, for sure. And that was a really good explanation on the differences between YOLO and autopilot. Now, with the fleet command, you just did /fleet. And what was your prompt? Or there was no, you just say go implement this plan.
I said implement the plan. Yeah.
But you could have been more granular, right? Like you could have been more specific.
I could have said just implement phase 1 of the plan and then come back and we can talk about, kind of how that went ahead. I could say implement the plan with changes and tell it what I thought the changes I wanted to make. Like, it just is, it is natural language. I could have told it to do whatever I wanted to do.
Perfect. Look at how it's spawning its own little agents to go to work.
Yeah, and so it's creating the events that it needs. It's creating the whatever scoring looks like in tag. What does scoring look like in tag? I probably should have read the plan, then I would have known what that was going to be. But so yeah, and then it's spinning up these agents to go through and do that. So it has two independent to dos, I guess. One was the event and one was the score, and that's what it decided to do. So all right, now that it's done that, it can do the next two agents. So one is actually creating the notion of the tag game, and the other one is listening for when players punch each other, because that's how we're going to know that somebody has been tagged it. And so and it's just going off and doing its thing.
Amazing.
And we could go watch it if we wanted to, in all of the changes here. But yeah, it is. It's pretty powerful.
Very cool.
You can go from literally just an idea to having working software, just with a few back and forths with the model, and that's cool.
Okay, can we talk about the resume as well? Because that's another thing, especially for us today. Like we were cooking, but we gotta go feed the dog and go for a walk. So if I'm sort of not finished with my session, then what happens?
So one thing that you can do is, if I'm just in a session and I just say hi, whatever. We'll let that do that real quick. And after it comes back, if I close the session, you'll get this in chat. So this will give me a big long UUID. And if I run this command, then I can resume that specific session. And so I can go look it back in my terminal history and find the specific session I was doing. That's not a great experience though. And so what you probably want to do is just do copilot -- resume. And that is going to spin up a very cool menu.
Look at that.
Yeah.
With the summary of what the work was. That's brilliant.
Exactly. Yeah. And so we can go and we can look at so these are the ones, these ones at the top were the ones that we had in this Git repository. But then here are just a bunch of other sessions too. And so we can go and find the one that we want to do. And you'll notice up here, sessions local and remote. The remote sessions, I can resume a session that I had running in the cloud with Copilot Coding Agent in my terminal, and that's pretty magical. So we can both delegate a session that I'm working on in my terminal up to Copilot Coding Agent, so I can just be working on it in the cloud, but I can also then take the session from Copilot Coding Agent and resume it here in my terminal locally.
So what the magic means is that you could assign a task to the coding agent when you leave your house to go walk the dog. And then when you come back and you're ready to dig into the work, you can go ahead and resume that session from your terminal, or from, if you're using an IDE, from your IDE.
Yeah. Or you could be crazy like me and actually just have a terminal app on your phone and just literally run it on your phone while you're walking the dog. You can do that too.
Say more. What are you running? Tell me later.
Yeah. I'm on Android. There's some terminal apps on Android you can use. They're very cool. Yeah.
That is amazing. Question about the models. And I've done this experiment actually. Does it use the same base model and base agent? So how can you use custom agents when you're using fleets or to like set of tasks in parallel? And thank you so much for the question.
Yeah, thank you for the question. Yes, you can. So I'm going to scroll up a little bit here, and you'll notice that when Fleet was dispatching its agents, it's creating general purpose agents. That's just our built-in agent. If I had a bunch of custom agents in here that I had with, say, I want to make sure it's using this model. I want to make sure that it's, only has access to these tools or whatever. Like, yes, you could prompt it in your /fleet. You say /fleet, use these agents to complete these tasks. And then instead of the general purpose agent, it will use those agents. Or I bet you could even, if in your custom instructions, you said, this is the agent that you use for these kinds of tasks, I imagine that it will intelligently select the right agent for the job there as well. But even if you don't have any custom agents defined, it will also, so here, if I, let us go back to here. If we go to, let's resume. I can tell it to, I don't even need to be in Fleet. I could say spin up parallel sub agents using Codex 5.3, Opus 4.6, and Gemini 3. Is it 3.1? Is it 3? I think it's 3. I think 3 is the one in
Let's
in
go
CLI.
with 3.
Yeah.
Let's go with 3.
To review our changes. And it has the ability to just kick off a general purpose agent using these individual models as well. So if you don't want to have a whole custom agent defined and you just want to use a different model for your sub agents, it can handle that on its own as well.
And this is the sauce right here, friends. This is how you get that robust opinion baked into the work that you're doing, because you're using multiple agents for that. Ben, the remote feature would be resume. I mean, because you can pick up the session, or I don't know if you can say more about that, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's the beginning, I think, right?
Okay.
I think there's more in that space that we'd like to do, especially after seeing what some of our friends who make some other agentic harnesses have done. I think there's some cooler stuff we can do in that space, and we're looking into it. We're looking into it.
Okay. Yeah. But again, if you have tried the Copilot CLI in September and you have not tried it since, please upgrade to the latest version. You can install it using Brew. If you're on Windows, I think it's a Winged installation.
Yep.
It works on Mac OS, Windows, Linux. It's free. Again, it costs you $0. There is the installation guide, and there is an entire and growing ecosystem of plugins and skills in the also Copilot repository. I will share the link to that as well, because definitely you have to try it out. Ben, yes. Ben, I'm here for you in this question because this is me. I want to be able to go outside.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're working on it, Ben. We are working on it. Yes. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. I think, like you said, that was the beginning. So in the way that how fast this team is cooking, I don't think it'll be too long. So amazing. You can install it today. You can start trying it out. Can you tell us a little bit about maybe one more question about context, because this is such an excellent question. Thank you so much for asking it, June Beatrice. If you have an app that involves multiple repositories, each one its own project, have you got a specific strategy that's worked for you, like a best way to develop it on a efficient manner?
Yeah. I mean, what I do, and I'm not going to pretend like this is state of the art and this is the best possible thing that you can do, but what I do, and it works for me, is I open Copilot in a directory that just contains all of the sub projects as subdirectories that I care about, and then I just tell it, here's each of these different repositories. Here's their concerns and how they fit into the bigger picture. And then the agent is just smart enough to go in there and know which repos to go into for different tasks.
Absolutely.
There's definitely some workflows that I've seen out there that get a little bit more crazy with how they define custom agents for working in each of the repos, but you'd be surprised at how little of that special tooling you really need to get good results. And if you want to move to the mono repo life, you most certainly can.
Come to the dark side. But honestly, though, I have been so impressed because I've done a lot of this kind of cross tasking. And it's handled it beautifully. Whereas, like, I'm doing something and then I'm like, oh, by the way, in this other repo, because guess what, friends, the GitHub NCP server is baked in it. You can see all my repos. You know what I'm talking about when I tell you, go look at that other project and tell me how we did, especially experimenting with the Copilot SDK, which we didn't even get to, because, just doing some kind of advanced-ish workflows for different experiments I was running. And I'll be like, well, they work on there. Go see how you did it there. And then come back. And it handled that. I'm not running work trees I'm just having one conversation, but the agent's smart enough to figure out what projects and where things need to go. So that's worked out beautifully for me. But I love the disclaimer. You just kind of experiment with it. Again, it costs you $0. So experiment with it and you'll figure out the best way to work with it for you. Let me take a look and see if there are any other questions. I do want to see this question about, and hello, Mr. Kojo, friend of GitHub, friend of the show. The coolest feature that you have come across so far, Copilot CLI, or what's the thing that you've done in the CLI that you're like, you already showed me today Chronicle and Chronicle tab that I have not played with. Fleet and Delegate are, they're my friends.
Yep.
We've been there hand in hand, and that's how we work. Being able to resume the sessions and having that slug where it's actually giving you a summary of what it was work, so you know exactly what session to pick. Amazing. What else have you seen out there or that you've been using yourself that you're like, whoa, that's cool?
Well, okay. My true answer to this question is Chronicle. I think right now, part of that is just because of how new and how cool it is. But oh boy, I think the coolest use case that I've seen is people creating their kind of, OpenClaw like personal assistants and going crazy with kind of, organizing their entire professional lives around this tool with a million different custom plugins and skills and everything. And I know Patrick showed you his thing where he has Copilot call him when it needs help with things.
Yes,
that's really cool. Then that's magical every time that I see it. But it just really goes to show that there is no limit on what you can do with this tool. You have the building blocks to truly kind of do whatever it is that you want. But for me, honestly, like it is Chronicle. It is the fact that I have a way to learn how to use the product better and collaborate with the agent better and use it more effectively from within the product. And not everyone needs to be like me and in the Slack channels with the engineers as they're coming up with stuff and they have their little tips and tricks. Like I can have the master of using the Copilot CLI in my terminal with me at all times and ask it questions about how to get better.
Absolutely.
It's magical. It really is.
And so much of that is like your own personal experience and meeting developers where they are. Like we want you to use the tool the way that you want to. And in order to do that, like you have that flexibility now. Yeah. Okay. You have to tell us what's coming up. I know you have a list of requests.
And we do.
Oh, hello. We can also provide feedback right from the CLI.
That's true.
Yes. Oh, is it finished?
It's finished. Yeah. So our tag game completed. And not only that, but the code review got stuck. I didn't run my review on autopilot, so it stopped asking me to run Gradle, and it's not even going to work because I don't have all of that set up. But yes, the tag game did complete.
Sweet.
And so it told me what it did. It created all these new files. It modified these existing files. And it did tell me that I can't build because I don't have my build set up. But we knew that was going to be the case.
That is so cool. Okay, so right now for slash commands, there is many. And there is a feedback slash command that we can actually send feedback directly to the team from here. Yeah. I think, I don't know what this does. Does this open an issue? What does it do?
Yeah. It uses the issues in our public repository.
Perfect.
Yep.
There's a question about, can you use a model? Can you show us how to select the models and switch? Because this is also another thing that I think we don't talk about enough.
Yes. So we're just going to do /model. And then here are all the models.
Look at that.
I promise you the things that say hidden aren't as interesting as you might think they are. So don't read into that too much. But they're you just do /model. I can search. So if I want to look for haiku, codex, here's all the ones that have codex in them. If I select GPT 5.3 codex as an example, I can select the reasoning effort that it uses as well. So
exactly.
I want extra high. Let's go to extra high. And there's this list is ever expanding. We
literally as they come out, they get in this list.
Literally as they come out. It's nuts. But it's that easy. And if you're in headless mode and you want to select the model, you could do Copilot --model. Is it going to tell me how to I give the model name. I want to use help so you can see what all of the model. So here you go. Here are all the things that you could select. And so so whether you're in interactive mode or in non-interactive mode, you can select the model that you use, and it really is one of the superpowers of this tool.
Amazing. Use the best harness and you get to use the best models, like state of the art, and everything costs you one premium request right now.
It's true.
So, which is incredible when you're thinking about the amount of implementation and work that these agents are doing for you.
It truly is. So our code reviews agents finished. So we had our 3 code review agents, one running 5.3 Codex, one running Opus 4.6, one running Gemini 3. And the reviews are in. All 3 reviewers have these same number 1 issues. It looks like there was just like a straight up bug in that implementation where the punch handler was applying to all party games and not just tag. So even in other party games, like damage was being canceled and whatever. So that's probably something we would want to address. There's a race condition in on start. So cool, right? Now that I had these 3 agents go, and you can see they did find different things. Like only Opus found this race condition. Only
that is
Gemini,
so interesting.
Found this thread safety issue. And that's, I think, part of the reason why I would make this a part of your everyday workflow, is having multiple models review your code.
Amazing. And the Copilot code review as well as part of this. You can, with the coding agent, when you assign the task, that's also like baked in there. So you're already getting a better quality PR that you would otherwise.
It's true. But if you're anything like me, you want to do some review in your own terminal before you push it out to the world where the rest of your team sees it.
Very fair. Very fair. Let's take this comment from Scott. I'd love to see the CLI share MCP config with VS Code. And if I'm greedy, even VS 2026.
Yeah. So the reverse is true. So if your repository has .vscode/mcp.json, we will read that. I don't know if the reverse is true. I'd have to ask my friends on the VS Code side. User level configs, I believe we do not share config at this time. But I would invite you to go open an issue in the public repo or search to see if anyone else has opened one and thumbs it up, because that's definitely, I think, a good idea. I think the fractured nature of a lot of these configs across lots of different agentic harnesses, that's definitely a little bit of a bummer right now. And I would like to see that improved. But and Scott, I'll also give you this bit of advice. Package all your MCP servers into plugins. That way, wherever you are, it's easy to just install them in one fell swoop.
Oh, that's a very good tip. That is a very, very good tip. Ryan, this has been so informational. I feel like I learned a ton. You have to tell us what's next. I have to get you to tell us something that you haven't said to anybody.
Something that I haven't said to anybody.
Trying to bring a little bit of tech journalism here.
Okay.
I know there is a lot of plans. There's a lot of plans. When I tell you this team is cooking, they are absolutely cooking. Anything that you can share. I mean, there is some exciting events coming up. I know that it was just announced that Build is happening in June. I mean, there'll be things cooking before. And there will for sure be things cooking for them.
There most certainly will. I will tease you guys and say there's been a lot of UI improvements and a lot of improvements to the design of the Copilot CLI this past month or two. You haven't even seen 10% of it. There are some really cool things that the team is cooking on right now, and I'm very excited for what visually the Copilot CLI might look like in a few months' time.
I love this for us, especially because I use it every day. Ryan, this has been absolutely delightful. Thank you so much for coming by and taking your time to taking us through this, your very own personal workflow, right?
Oh yeah, we got personal. Yeah.
Every day I feel like I see something new. So I can't wait to see. I mean, honestly, since September, we're in March, friends. This is not even a year old.
I know. I know.
What? I know. It's absolutely mind-blowing. I can't wait to see what people are cooking. I think, and we need to do another segment because we covered a ton, but I'd love to talk a little bit more about the RPC, the JSON integration, being able to bring the CLI into your own things and using the SDK to do that. That is so powerful. I don't think we even scratched the surface of what you can do there.
We'll have to
So
follow up on that.
yes. Ryan, where do you hang out? Like, what special social media hell are you in that you would like people to follow you?
Yeah, go follow me on Twitter/X. I'm at
Okay.
Ryan_Hecht, and that's going to be the best place to get in touch with me in real time if you want to chat all of this. But yeah, you might see me on Reddit as well. I'm Ryan_GitHub. I think on Ryan Hecht_GitHub, I believe is my Reddit handle. I'm in the GitHub Copilot subreddit all the time there as well. And if you talk about the Copilot CLI on LinkedIn, you might see me in your likes or in the comments as well.
Yes, I always forget about this Reddit, and I know a lot of you friends live in there. I will share we actually have a subreddit, the GitHub Copilot subreddit, and I know Ryan and team from the CLI team, they do spend some time there. There is also sometimes there'll be AMAs. Again, this is beautifully in the open, so if you want to open an issue in the repository, you can also take a look at what's already there. But can't wait to see what everyone is taking. Please take it for a spin and let me know how it went. Let me know how you like it. And if you're a person, especially who've not tried it in a bit, like say you try it when it first came out. I mean, even the installation, there were so many things. Everything is completely different now. Let me know. Let me know how you got on. Let me know what your experience was. I know that, again, they deeply care about this being the absolute best possible aging harness there is, and offering you a choice of the best possible frontier lab models. Like anything, like the sky is the limit, not even the sky, on what you can build there. So I encourage everyone to give it a go, especially if you haven't worked with it in a while. I'm going to share on the chat also a link from a recording that we did on what was new with the coding agent, because I think that Tim also mentioned a few things about the CLI that will be interesting for folks, especially when we're talking about a lot of the remote sessions and being able to like send a task to the cloud and then pick it back up. Like, so take a look at that. Ryan, come back, please.
I would love to. Say the word. I'm here. I'd love to.
Awesome. I'm already super selfish. I kept you for like an hour but way more than I asked
this is
for.
This is fun.
45 minutes.
This is the most fun part of my day. I'm more than happy to be here.
Amazing. And thank you everyone so much for being here today. Don't forget to follow Ryan. I'm going to find your X here. If you could drop it to me on the private chat. I tried it earlier, but no, I can't find it.
Yeah.
And preach, Scott. Preach. The CLI has come a long way. So has Copilot, honestly, but the CLI in particular has got my heart. I'm going to share Ryan's X. So go give him a follow, and we'll see you next. Ryan, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Bye, folks.
How fun was that? I am obsessed with this idea of the CLI teaching me how to work with the CLI better. What? So if you haven't tried Chronicle, try it. This gave me, it kind of brought this idea to me. I don't know how many of you do daily stand-ups, but this can be your daily stand-up flow at the beginning of the day. Then at the end of the day, when you're done with whatever you were working on, you can actually have that short kind of interaction with the CLI and figure out how you could have prompted better. If there are things like, I love the advice, maybe you should use Control G. You can learn so much just by having a conversation in natural language. Amazing. My mind is blown. Go follow Ryan, please. And for those of you who were joining from our stream on LinkedIn or Twitch and other places, guess what? We have a YouTube channel where all of this content lives forever and ever and ever. So please join our YouTube community. There's also a podcast that lives there, and there are community conversations, some interesting tips that only get published there. So please go follow us on YouTube. I'm like really loving to see the growth of this YouTube account, and please help me get it. Let's push those numbers up. And then you will also see my face in some of our recurrent shows. So if you are interested in open source, on Fridays, we do an open source Friday stream. And then we also have this shorter format by high impact checkout segments where you get to learn about a lot of things, especially the things that are new. And this is the first time that we actually recorded with Ryan. Just today, we published a brand new GitHub checkout on agentic workflows, which is, if this blew your mind, go check out agentic workflows, because it's a great way for you to bring that agentic powers to everything that you're working on and do it in a way that it's kind of like delegate. like the tasks are running, the agents are running. I'm using it actively in some of my projects to keep up with documentation, which used to be a very manual task. I don't even need to assign an issue to coding agent because I'm running an agentic workflow that does it for me automatically. So go check out that YouTube, please. I appreciate you all so much. I am going to take this recommendation to heart, Ezekiel. Copilot VS Code was a bit small and hard to read. 100%. I will make sure that we zoom in a bit next time, please. Thank you. I'm guilty of not doing, technically for all of you folks out there that love dark mode, it's really bad for people to be able to see. I know I'm just as bad though, because I'm like, but my eyes. So I will take heed into that recommendation. Thank you all so much for being here. Don't forget to go follow Ryan on Twitter. Keep up with the changelog and watch our shows on YouTube. It's a privilege to spend some time with you today. Thank you. I'm going to leave you with my favorite jingle. Let's see. Where are you? And you'll see our usual suspects here. Let me know what you built. Let me know if you tried the Copilot CLI back in September, October, November, even December, and you upgraded it now. What did you think? Add me on social, please. See you next time.